All right, let's further unpack this by welcoming traditional healer Putumile Fuyane. Ndlondlo Tamago, it's a great pleasure having you with us on the show. So you must be quite elated at the fact that there are currently steps that are being taken and formalized in the recognition of African medicines. And with this year's theme also calling for the strengthening of evidence base for traditional medicine, how will this assist you as traditional healers?
Good evening, Alicia and the listeners, and thank you for having me on the show. I don't know where to start, but if the process of formalizing or recognizing African traditional medicine was done in a correct way by government, it will be a pleasure and it will assist the knowledge holders of the traditional medicine, which is traditional healers, inclusively Amagbeja, Amaqhele, and all other stakeholders that are involved in that. Mm-hmm. But what is currently happening in South Africa is that the government is sidelining the knowledge holders and rushing the process for their own benefit, which we don't know. And also, what is happening is that we always feel that there is a gap between the state and the Western medicine and us, which is traditional healing, where we are pushed to foreign standards as if now traditional medicine is the subordinate of the Western medicine. So that creates now a problem and rejection. And that is where the government must start the negotiations or discussions to first find the common ground between the two spaces in order for us to be able to work together. But now what is currently happening is that the government is pushing their own process in the absence of traditional healers and in the presence of certain organizations which are now they align with the government, and the rest of the traditional healers are excluded. So if the process was done in a fair and democratic way, as traditional healers, it will assist the traditional healing to become a formalized practice. Thank you.
You know, Ndlondlo, now 80% of the population in Africa still uses traditional herbs as their primary health care, according to a World Health Organization fact sheet, right? We saw that in famous Battle of Umhlonyane during the COVID days. And since then, it seems the drive, as you've just rightly pointed out, as well as push for the recognition of the sector, has since quietened down, at least on the public perspective. So discussions on integration should have been at a high level by this stage. There was a drive to push for even traditional healers to have their space, even in hospitals, should, of course, those patients want to pursue consultation routes and, in effect, combining with the Western treatment. So what is currently causing these major stumbling blocks in your experience, Ndlondlo?
You know, first is the traditional health practitioners regulations, which it's still outstanding. We have submitted submissions to the Department of Health, trying them to review the traditional health practitioners regulation. But that is still, the government has not answered traditional healers. They have done nothing. They have never engaged with them, and they are not willing to do so. And also in that process, the process was now then excluding traditional healers. It was on its own. It's the government that is taking the lead in trying to exclude traditional healers in policies that are going to affect traditional healers. So if we still have issues or dispute within the policy that regulates traditional healers, how are we going then to go forward and discuss traditional medicine? Even in that instance of Umhlonyane, you know, when you create a product, when you produce a product, the product must be protected. There must be a patent. But those issues are not discussed with traditional healers on how to move forward to protect that information. In order for that, the people that are going to forward the information so that it can be tested to the labs, the information is protected. They don't get exploited. But the government does not discuss those issues. Even in the traditional health practitioners regulations, those issues are not there. So we are still far from all this process. We still need to sit down and debate and discuss the issues that are still outstanding.
Just a very quick one on that, Ndlondlo. I mean, just on that point, right? When it comes to some of those specific African herbs, I've actually observed this very worrying trend that you've just alluded to as well. Say, for example, you do find a traditional herbal product that actually works just as well as its major competitors at major retailers in the country. The product shelf life is pretty limited in that the sooner there's actually demand and people are buying it, the major retailers will then pretty much discontinue it. And you have to find it at other retailers that largely deal with the African population. So there's no consistency, even though the product is flying off the shelves. So why can't there be fair market competition, empowering the consumer with their right to choice as well?
You must also remember there are so many policies that are still shaking us in chains. Environmental policies, to dig herbs is not easy first. And also, to take those medicine to the formal retail stores, it's not easy to get them there. And we are not equipped by government. Remember, the people who are knowledge holders of this information or this medicine are the people who do not have any and to innovate and package this medicine in a different form. So the government is not coming forward to assist them, but what they want to do is to regulate that sector. And they want the knowledge holders to hand over the information to them. So the whole process is not beneficial to us. And some shops, some individuals, like traditional healers, will be able to produce one product and having it approved and get to the shelves. But then to produce more for the number of people, it will be then become a problem because there's no funding for that.
All right, Putumile, we're going to leave it there, Ndlondlo, unfortunately, but thank you so much for raising some of those key and as well as critical concerns. Calling for fair processes there by government is Mr. Putumile Fuyani, the traditional healer, as they, of course, observe Traditional Medicine Day here in the country.